there. Okay, first up, Kumar, how to be focused always.
So something that I've had to come to terms with is the realization that you can't be focused always. So I think the first thing is a lot of times we look up to our heroes. So, you hang out with Evan enough and you are going to think, man, this guy never sleeps. He's texting me in the middle of the night. He's sending me emails all the time. Like he's going crazy. He must be like he wakes up, he comes to his computer, he works all day nonstop and then goes to sleep. And that's all he does. But truthfully,
I thought he didn't sleep. Wait, which one is it, Draeger?
Sleep for a very short amount. Listen, man, you and I have been in a hotel room together in Texas. I wake up at like 2:30 in the morning and you're sitting there on your phone. And I was like, what are you doing? Go to sleep. And you're like, oh yeah, I will.
Yeah,
we
got I couldn't sleep
2 hours later.
I was on the floor. I slept on the floor in Mark's hotel because I got my room wasn't ready, or I got there a day early. Right. What was it?
You got there. You came down a day early. But anyway, my point is that often what we see are people who have been working for 10 years or who've been who are deeper into their career or are ahead of us, and we think they have it all figured out. They don't. We don't. So first of all, the thing I have to lower for myself is the bar of I can't wake up every day on fire. It's unlikely. I can't be focused every minute of every day. And so knowing that I'm not falling short where other people do it, nobody can do that. So then the next question to ask yourself is how can you stay more focused, right? How can you be focused more for longer? And for me, it comes down to how much I sleep. It comes down to what I eat and when I eat, because after I eat, man, I'm not focused and I'm tired. And it comes down to me actually just keeping a journal and tracking how I feel during the days and during the week. So I know when I wake up, the first 4 or 5 hours when I'm awake, I'm way more focused than at like 4 in the afternoon. So then I adjust my schedule to do the really important things when I'm more energized and more focused.
Looks like you're going to hit your head against the ceiling soon. Are you actually close, or is it just an optical illusion?
It's this far.
Okay, you look a lot closer. Like you look like you're going.
Yeah, because it's up on an angle. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
where the phone's going. Anyway, I would just take off the always. The always is an impossible bar, right? So if you're measuring yourself against that, then you're never going to hit it, and you're always going to feel let down. Can you have more focus? Absolutely. Always, never. I would be paying attention to when are you not focused and what's the reason why. It may just be that you're doing the wrong stuff. This is a bonus episode of our podcast. If you listen to our regular one or watch it, watching is even better on YouTube, because there are moments that we recorded, I think it was last week, where Mark is going off and going on some crazy contact stuff we've already heard. And I end up like, oh, I'm like this. I'm rolling my eyes. I'm stretching, waiting for Mark to finish what he's saying. I'm not focused at all. It's like, I've already heard this. I don't even know this. This is not useful or helpful for me. He wants to give the audience context. So I'm like, check it out.
It probably got all cut out. So you don't have to worry about even seeing it.
Okay. Well, but then there are other moments on the show too, where I'm intensely focused. It's the only thing that matters. I'm dialed in. And so it's just paying attention. I don't want to be more focused when Mark's sharing context and all this stuff. It's like I want less of that, right? So I'd be thinking about what are the things that you're doing where you lose focus on, and maybe you shouldn't be doing them. Like maybe it's a sign that you shouldn't actually be doing those things anymore, instead of judging yourself for not being focused enough. You like that, Mark?
I do.
The Jefferson Munoz is saying, what are you both grateful for in 2020?
I was saying this to my wife last night. So I have 4 kids. My oldest is 14. My youngest is 6. And my son has been going through a really hard year. We had him switch schools. And honestly, I used to work so much, and now I still work, but I work from home. So I'm not driving as much, but I have more chance to see him. And we have way more time for one-on-one because he's not hanging out with his friends and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm I'm going to look back on this year and be super grateful that this forced me to spend more time with him while he's 12, because if I let it go until he was 17 or 20 or 25 without really spending a lot of time with him and helping him through things, I think I would really regret that. So despite business, despite challenges, despite all kinds of things that have been really tough this year, I'm super grateful that this has forced me to spend more time with my kids at a time when they really need me to be there for them.
I don't know. I mean, 2020, Jesus. January, what was I doing in January? January, I was flying to Whistler to speak at Ed Milet's thing.
You were, and then you were stopped at the border and kicked out of America.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to do my tour.
Yeah, you released a new book.
I released
right. Built to Serve.
Any of this stuff. Did the new? But when was the book? It was March, May,
March. No, March 18th, I think, or something like that.
To Puerto Rico for the.
Yeah, you went to Puerto Rico. Yeah, you got super tight with all of these big names, and like have been part of like your brand has blown up this year and gotten really big, and you're
launched the gaming channel, launched the Q&A Shorts channel. I don't know, all of that. I'm grateful for all of that. I just like 2020 is just too big. It's too big. So many things have happened since then that I don't even remember that I went to Whistler in January or what else happened throughout the year. I'm focused on like today. I'm grateful to be here with you.
You don't even look backwards anyway. So
yeah, barely. But I'm very grateful on a daily basis for where I'm at right now, just not looking backwards. So I'm grateful to be here with you guys, with my friend Mark, answering Jefferson's question. That fills me with gratitude that you guys would be here watching, give us your attention. Okay. Kind Conrad in the house. Has kindness played a role in your business and success overall?
I would say so for myself. I mean, I can think back to when I first finished college. I went to film school, and when I finished, I just met this random guy in our class who wasn't even there. He wasn't even going to our school or attending. He was just sitting there, and he was looking for someone to help him. And I offered to help him for a few days for free. And then like 3 weeks later, he called me up and said, "Hey, you're a good guy. My company's hiring. Do you want a job?" I was like, "Oh, okay, great." And then I tried to help out as many people as I could in that job, but I was desperately unhappy. And my boss actually found me a role, made my resume for me, and submitted it to the company. And then that ended up being the job that I got that I moved to next. And then all of those people helped me start my first firm in 2006, my company, when I was 23 years old. And every step along the way, I mean, Evan, the only reason that I'm here right now doing this with you is because of, love and kindness and every support that Evan's given me over the last 13 years or whatever it's been that we've been friends, 15 years or something. So I would say that it was 2007. So you just got to do the math real quick, I guess, but
it's
13 years. But you know what it is? It's like everybody talks about value, right? If you're want to start a business, if you want to sell something, if you want to help people, you've got to provide value. If you want followers, if you want to grow your following and have influence on people's lives and help them, you have to provide value. So you can say that that's kindness. To me, it's just who I am and how I want to help people. And probably you're the same. It looks like kindness in business because most people won't do anything without money, right? I'm not going to help you unless if you'll help me. My time is too valuable. If I'm helping you, then I'm not making money somewhere else. And you kind of monetize and quantify your time around what I'm going to get back for it. I never really ran my business that way, so it may have been a little bit slower. But when I was in a pinch, people were there to help me when I needed them.
I think ultimate kindness comes down to actually understanding what the person needs, not just what you want to give them, just like, love languages and all that. I think there's some, generic kindness things like holding the door and that kind of stuff, or giving them compliments is almost never, the wrong move. But I think if you really want to be, you got kind in your name there, Conrad, kind Conrad. Ultimate kindness is understanding what the other person needs, not just what you want to give them. And that may mean even giving them some tough love. So yesterday on my Movement Maker session, Zen the man was there, and 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, I gave him some topics. I featured him on my live. I'm talking about him. I picked him instead of other people, giving him a lot of extra value. And I said, Zen, these are the videos you need to make. And we went through and gave him titles like Zen, I want titles. Like, I want you to make this video, Zen, and I want you to make this video too. And we gave him like 2 or 3 different titles of videos for him to make. And then 2-3 weeks go by and you say, hey man, did you make the videos? So yeah, he's in the chat. There he's good. I'm glad he's here. I like talking about people while they're watching, not behind the back. I know either way, Zen would be happy with it. But so yesterday we got on the Movement Makers and we're talking. And I asked him, hey, Zane, what happened to the videos? And he's like, he hasn't done them yet. Like, dude, it's been like multiple weeks. What are we doing here? Right. And I didn't turn up and get like super ragey yelling at him, but like a push, like, let's go. What do we, we spent this time on you. You have a big message. You can make these videos. Go make the videos. Like, what are we waiting on? And then he joined my gaming channel last night, and he said, "Hey, thank you for the push. I really appreciate it."
Did he do it?
I don't, Zane. How are you doing?
Come on, man! Like, thanks so much for the push.
Yeah.
Did you record something?
Zane's here in the chat. Well, how's the progress?
Let's see. Let's see. It's been like forever.
Yeah. And so the thing is, a younger version of Evan wouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have pushed. I would have seen that as actually unkind to say, in front of a group of people, in front of your peers, people who you're collaborating with, to be called out by the leader and say, hey, how come you're wasting time here, right? I wouldn't have done that because I would have seen that as anti-kind, but it's actually the kindest thing.
I actually have a story from our past where this happened.
It's the kindest thing. Well, this happens all the time. I'm just using Zan from yesterday. There's a million with you.
No, I'm saying where you didn't speak up because you weren't the person that you are today.
Yeah.
And it really hurt me. And then you beat yourself up for not speaking up.
Because it's actually the kindest thing to do. It's what Zan needed. It's what Zan needed. It's actually the most kind thing you can do, even though it seems unkind to be called out in front of your peers. And he said, in the gaming channel last night, like, I love being called out. Thank you for the push. Right. Which if I give it to somebody else may not have been the right call. And so that's a person by person basis, but I knew Zane could handle it. I knew Zane was ready, and the public accountability is actually going to help him get to where he needs to be. So that's just, expanding the definition of kindness from just what everybody kind of likes, and sure, you can pat them on the back or give some good words of affirmation or whatever, but knowing what they actually need and then giving it to them. If people watch the podcast, they may sometimes see me going super hard on Mark on things and say, wow, Evan is such an ass sometimes, because it's not. Like, this is the most kind thing. This is the greatest gift Mark's ever been given, right? Like, this is the most kind, the greatest kindness he received this week just happened on that podcast. And so it's because what he needs, even if other people don't understand it. And so, kind Conrad, I would challenge you to just expand the definition of kindness, to give them what they actually need to help them get to where they need to get to. That's the next level kindness. It says many mindful moments. I like it. Okay. Anything else, Mark? Or are we good?
No, we're great. That was a great answer, Evan.
Okay. PK Unchained. I get nervous tics when I do things that I'm uncomfortable with. Can you offer some advice? Much love.
So I've just finished the book, Man's Search for Meaning. And they literally, the person who wrote it, Viktor Frankl, literally speaks about this. He's a therapist, in case you don't know, and he survived a concentration camp. And so he was a doctor before going there, but he used his time in the concentration camp to practice his methods. And he literally speaks in that book about a boy who had a stutter, who could not speak for his whole life without a stutter. But when challenged to try to stutter as much as possible, he could no longer do it. When you're laying in bed at night and you're thinking, I got to go to sleep. I got to go to sleep. Man, I got to go to sleep. What happens is you never fall asleep. But as soon as you stop thinking about how desperately you need to fall asleep and trying so hard to fall asleep, you'll naturally fall asleep. So I would just say, because this is fresh in my memory from having just completed this book, that if you get a nervous tic when you do things that make you uncomfortable, then I would say, I wonder how ticky I can be. I wonder how big I can make this tic, because he literally references in this book that this is one of those things. If you have OCD, try to be as OCD as possible, and you will naturally start to release that nervous energy. And so I would say give it a shot. I haven't experienced that myself. I do know that when I step up on stage, if I'm nervous, I have to take a pretty deep breath, and I have to tell myself, wow, you're kind of nervous. Just admit it to myself and let the pressure off that I'm going to make a mistake and I'm going to slip up and all those things, but maybe try to be as ticky as possible and see if it doesn't just disappear.
There you go. Drager's advice. So I've had tics almost my whole life, and I don't know that I have a great answer for you, but I'll just share. Even now, when I'm thinking, my ears move. Can you see that?
Yeah. Your ears move a lot.
Can you see that? I don't know if it's coming across. It's more micro. It used to be a lot
There you
worse.
go. That side, you see it.
This side?
Yeah. That side's going all twitchy, all crazy.
So it's my I don't know. There's something with when I'm focused or concentrated, my ears move. My eyes will blink a bunch sometimes. Either focused, concentrated, or tired and trying to focus, concentrate. I'll have that happen a lot. It used to be a lot worse. I used to have crazy things. I used to always do things with my mouth. I'd be like doing this all the time while I talk.
Yeah.
Or it goes to the side. I used to, maybe it's tied to OCD or something, but like I couldn't, when I was walking, I used to not want to step on the lines of the sidewalk. You fidget
with your ring a lot. You used to, or I don't know if you still do or not, but you fidget with your ring a ton. On video camera, people have asked all the time.
Why is your ring on your thumb? Like, I whenever I'm thinking, I like having something that I play with. Constantly. I guess that counts. I used to have to kick my butt a bunch of times. So I would walk and then I'd have to like put my heel, like walk, and then super weird. I think it's part of why my parents took me to see a child psychologist when I was 9.
Well, it's probably because you were hiding under the desk at school alone all day, every day too, right?
I was when I was like 3 or something when I was hiding under the desk. No, 9, I wasn't still hiding under the desk. And the advice was to get me out of the school. So the child psychologist, they didn't tell me the advice, but I just sat there and played games with them and looked at ink blots and what do I see and butterflies and whatever. But they told my parents to get me out of that school. And leaving the school, I actually got better. So there was something about the school. I still have things, right? Remnants. But after leaving the school, I seemed to get better. I don't know why. Maybe it was trauma, or maybe if I, sit down with Mark's psychologist, we can spend 18 years digging through my background and come up with something. You have to watch the original podcast to get the context for that reference. I don't know. I don't feel the need to really fix it, I guess. Maybe that's why I haven't a lot. I just accept that my ears wiggle when I'm thinking, and I might blink a bunch of times, and I have my ring that I move around. Like I don't know. It hasn't been something that I really want to attack, really care too much about. But maybe like go as OCD as possible, or go as twidgety, like, and see what goes away. I don't know.
I mean, in the book, he does mention that by forcing yourself to do it as big as possible, you also kind of humorize it. I don't know if that's the right word. You kind of make it ridiculous. So when we went to Tony Robbins and they wanted us to take our greatest fear, stick our finger up our nose, and then say it like a bunch of silly people. Yeah. I'm sure he grounded that experience to try and make it feel as foolish as possible so it loses its power on us. But there's a certain amount of that, like, oh yeah, you think I'm going to have a tick? Let me show you how ticky I can get. Like, I think you're making a joke of it. You're trying to do it. It's removing the pressure. So report back and let us know if it works.
I would even use it as a sign to do the thing, right? I think one of the hardest things to find is the
little note, the little red flag that goes up, that goes, oh, this is really important right now.
Yeah, I think often when you're scared to do something where he said uncomfortable with, often when you're uncomfortable with something, you'll find a reason why you can't do it, and you'll logic your way out of it where you're really just afraid and you can't actually catch the fear. You just logic your way out of it because you're not going to believe a stupid reason. You're coming up with a really smart reason why you can't do this thing. But really, if you examined it, you're just afraid. But you're not willing to examine it because you don't think it's a big thing. But deep down, it actually is. And so that's why I've come up with scary, difficult, or hard as trigger words to go do it. Like, oh, I said it was difficult. Shoot. Okay, now we got to do it. Just because, or the boom, boom, boom test with your heart when it's going like this is another sign to do it. But that could be a good trigger for you. It could even be for me. When you get your nervous tics, when you feel them actually happening, that's a sign that you need to go do the thing.
And you're about to do something really important.
Yeah, uncomfortable, which is great to teach yourself that you do uncomfortable things.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more. Here we go. Abhishek, how to get back in routine once it gets broken?
Oh, I am the king of this. Breaking routines. I'm the king of breaking routine and then never returning to them again. And then 3 or 4 months later going like, oh, I started doing this thing. I really like that. And having to reteach myself everything from scratch. So of course, the best thing to do is to try to not break your routine. And for most people, they think that's really hard. We haven't gone on vacation in a long time now, but 2 years ago when we went on vacation, when my wife and I went on vacation, we went to Jamaica, we went to a nice resort. I still got up at 5:30 every day because I was really worried that if I didn't keep getting up at 5:30 every day, I would break my routine and then that would be the end of that. I went to the gym every day. Now I didn't stick to my diet 100%, but I went to the gym every day because I was worried if I don't go to the gym every day that I will break my habit and I won't come back. And so I use fear of like, hey, I've worked so hard to get this thing. You just take your eyes off it for a little bit and you can lose it. So it's just got to be baked in. I went to someone invited me over for dinner a year ago and they made a special dessert just for me, but it wasn't on my diet. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't eat this. And they were really heartbroken. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't eat this food. So no. And they're like, really? I made it for you. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just don't.
They just don't know you.
Well, they just thought that they knew me well enough that I would break my diet that I would break my diet because
it's not an act of kindness. That's an act of guilt.
Well, long and the short of it.
Kind Conrad. Wow. See that 5 times fast. Kind Conrad.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind Conrad. That's a hard one.
But my point is,
Kind Conrad.
I've learned to be actually a little disagreeable to hold true to the things that are important to me because I know that if I slip, I'm not coming back there. And so it's more important to me to stay on the diet, which means being as strict as possible because I'm not great at going on and off. It means working out every day, unless if I have a recovery day, because I know if I take a few weeks off, I'm never coming back. Like old Mark is coming back and I want to fight. I want to leave old Mark way in the past. So I would just say like work as hard as you can to not break it. And then as soon as you do, don't consider that breaking like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to go to the gym today. No, don't reward yourself for breaking it. Don't go like, oh, good, I get a few days away off from the thing that I'm doing. No. You have to get back to it ASAP or else you will lose everything really, really quickly.
How you start is super important. So on your routine, whatever the first thing is, really, 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 really important. And then just noticing when you've fallen off and then getting back up and doing it again the next day. So example, recently, not yesterday, but the previous week before yesterday, I didn't do music in the morning, which I always do music in the morning. I didn't do music in the morning because it's LCS free agency and all the rumors are coming up of who's signing where. And is League of Legends professional team.
Okay, I was like,
and I'm like,
he just said,
are we gonna get Sword Art? Is he coming? We got Huni. Are you kidding me? Huni? That's crazy. What happened to Licorice? Where's Perks going? All this stuff. And a lot happens on West Coast timing and European timing too. So like while I'm sleeping, a bunch is happening. So first thing in the morning is like, oh, I wonder what's going on. But I didn't have as much. I didn't have as much energy during the day. Not like a major shift, but then I realized, oh, I need to get back. I had music on today. I have my new trampoline and I'm bouncing, like almost hitting my head on the ceiling. There's songs that are coming on. I forget what
this is Evan. This is Evan working.
I was like, woo, life is amazing. Like just like, oh yeah, I missed that. I got to put that back into the morning routine. So that's it, right? Something happens, you have some shock to your system, COVID, League of Legends, off-season rumors, something's going to happen that will throw you off. And then maybe that's actually a good thing. Maybe it ends up being better than your regular routine. And if it's not, then you go back and you say, okay, you know what's missing? I didn't drink water in the morning. I didn't have my music on. I didn't go for my walk. I didn't do my meditation. I didn't do my prayer. I didn't do my, whatever the thing is. And then you do it the next day. And you get up and you go and you get back on track and build the life that you want. Something to Prove podcast. Mark, where are they going?
You can find Something to Prove podcast on any of the podcast networks. But if you want to check it out on YouTube, on Evan's channel, or on Apple Podcast.
Much love. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. See you soon.
Hey there, Mark.
I'm Evan.
And in this week's episode, Evan blows my mind with a
It's a really
brand new
good one. It's a really good one.
The best one of the year.